causes of stress. And for my presentation, I want to look at what I call the causes of stress. And I'm going to preface my presentation by looking at in the light of what is known as the diathesis stress model. And so the diathesis stress model is a person's either their vulnerability or the person's what is known as hardiness to stress. In other words, is there a vulnerability to stress, or is the person able to weather the storm? So in looking at that, there's what I call the predisposing factors for stress. And one of it is the genetic factors. In other words, our genes play a role. Is there an inability to adapt? Is our age, personality, the environment? So these are some of the factors that can cause a predisposing factor. What I also want to talk about is what is known as the precipitating factors to stress. What are the precipitating factors? It's our stress response, our age, how we respond to stressors, or how do we respond to a diathesis in the environment. So therefore then, what makes a situation, what are the causes? It is situations that have strong demands, situations that are unexpected or imminent, life transitions. There's ambiguity, there's desirability, and there's controllability. So what if those things don't exist, or what if those things are compromised? What if controllability becomes uncontrollable? Desirability becomes undesirable? Then it is that we can become stressed when those things are compromised. So there are two major reasons. One is perception of an unknown event. If we perceive something as dangerous, difficult, or painful, if we have, as we talked about before, an ambiguity about the fact that we don't believe we have the resources to cope, we can get very, very stressful. And Omaya gave a very, very excellent introduction about what is stress. So the matter of fear and uncertainty, our attitudes and perceptions, unrealistic expectations, all these can contribute to stress. So therefore then, what are the exact causes of stress? So as I talked about, I look at it in terms of the diathesis stress model, where a diathesis is a stressor that can be unexpected, it can be sudden, and it can be very, very severe. So as someone said, we're in the world of COVID-19. We are living in a world that has changed dramatically since 9/11. So stress then can be physical, can be emotional, can be social. So family relationships, school, peer groups, friends, discrimination, injury, sickness, fatigue. These are other things that can cause stress. So because causation will include warning signs, one needs to know what are the warning signs that, based upon what I talked about before, that can cause stress. So the nuances, if we keep pushing ourselves, eventually something inside of us will send us red flags or warning signs that stress has become a problem. So apart from that, life stressors can also have a big impact. Examples of life stressors are death of a loved one, divorce, loss of a job, increase in financial obligations, getting married, moving to a new home, chronic illness or injury, emotional problems, depression, anxiety, anger, grief, etc. Taking care of an elderly or sick family member, a traumatic event. These are, again, signs of stress. So one other thing I would like to talk about is, in terms of causation, is that work stress can also create very, very difficult circumstances. So work stress can be chronic overload, unfair treatment, impossible expectations from boss, unsupportive or hostile co-workers, inadequate training, lack of recognition or rewards, value conflict with your co-workers, an unpleasant work environment, a lack of clear direction about priorities. So not only work stress can create problems, but we look at stress in terms of two major forces. One is internal stress versus external. Let me just give a little brief overview of what internal stress may be. It is the feelings of anger, fear and chronic worry, anticipation, negative self-talk, all or nothing attitude, rigid thinking. And I remember I talked about, in terms of the diastasis stress model, I said that there is a proneness or vulnerability to. So in other words, if one has, in terms of one's traits, a compulsive or obsessive compulsive thinking or relational lifestyle, one can be prone to stress. So in looking then at the external, the external stress are those variables in the environment that can predispose or cause, or precipitating factors that can cause us to have difficulties. And those external factors are, again, family difficulties, school stress, not only the work life, but other factors in the relationship that can cause us to feel stressed. So there, it can result then in the physical stressors. These are physical conditions of the body and the environment that affect physical well-being. So simple thing as hunger, lack of sleep, feeling ill, accidents can cause stress. So the emotional response then are worry, fear, grief, depression, and anger. So these are the things, in terms of the stressors can create, because we can be predisposed to psychiatric or psychological problems. And in my day-to-day experience, work with patients, I have seen a lot of people coming about depression, anger, worry, uncertainty. So even this world where there's so much going on right now, people are stressed. People are worried about what's going to happen to them in terms of their lives. So when I used to work in the child adolescent unit for the hospital, a lot of children were coming in because of issues with school, issues with family, issues with academics, and that creates stress for the child. So there is a lot of children, for example, who may present with what I call internalizing behaviors. Yeah? So the child may not only internalize, but the child may externalize their behaviors. So if you look at the DSM, most of these externalizing behaviors can be a result of stressors. So I think I just want to wrap up. I have wrapped up what I need to say about stress. And so again, thank you very much for having